But, like, is it a must-win for the optics for Aaron Rodgers? Yeah, it's not going to look good for him now if he loses. I can't call it a must-win, Damien. Not in that division, not with the Bears' offensive line. Vikings, that's a divisional rivalry. The Vikings played them tough. They usually do. And they've already split that anyway. Lions ain't doing anything. No, it's not a must-win. It's a good idea to win. The fact of the matter is we have not seen.
It's a good idea to win. Right. You're hilarious. You are good at.
It's not like a you should lose game.
Is that how you are in your Madden tournaments?
Packers go to 5-3, that they're not going to make the playoffs. They're going to make the playoffs. Packers are making playoffs this year. The issue is last year, without a defense, right, and without all these weapons, they went 13-3. Rodgers had the worst year of his career. They went 13-3. Now Rodgers is comfortable with the offense. The reason it's looked choppy is when was the last time he had Bakhtiari and and Jones and Devontae Adams not just coming back, we're just trying to force them the ball, right, against the Bucs defense, but all on the field with some continuity. Like, even then, they may not have the defense to win the whole thing, but damn, when they had all those guys together, it was like, oh, Aaron Rodgers and the Packers, that's the best team in the NFC. That's how good they are when they have all their players, when they get some continuity. If that's not them right now, that's all right. Teams evolve over the course of the season. A lot of times, it's among the elite teams who are healthiest towards the playoffs. Those are the teams that go on the run. So, no, I'm not going to say, week 8, you lose a game because you're missing a few guys, because you're not in rhythm, because you hit a lull in your season. I'm not going to call that a must-win game.
No, I disagree, man. I disagree. And I think part of the reason why, why I disagree is, during my time with New England, the one thing we always used to preach, Coach Belichick used to always preach, start playing your best ball in November, December. Right now. Mm-hmm. Right now, with teams usually start, the pretenders and contenders start separating themselves, okay? And the one thing we saw from the Green Bay Packers, Max, last week, Dalvin Cook just
ran
cooked them boys.
Yeah.
He ran for 163 yards. That has just been an Achilles heel. Going back to last year, we saw that in the NFC Championship game when they just the 49ers ran round through the Green Bay Packers. And I've always said, we talk about Aaron Rodgers and his weapons, and yes, he had, Devontae Adams has been hurt, and Alan Lazard, they're still waiting for those guys to kind of get back. But when you get into this time of year, as much as we talk about the passing game, you have to be able to stop the run. That's like one of the fundamental things that you have to do at this time of year. And that's one issue that the Packers just seem like they can't figure it out. They can't figure out how to stop a run. And if you're going up against a San Francisco 49ers team with basically their whole roster is either on a COVID list or out for the year injury, if they can't stop the run, because we know one thing that Kyle Shanahan can do, he know how to design runs. He know how to run the football.
Let's say they lose the game, they're supposed to win. So what?
If they lose the game,
so what?
First of all, Chicago Bears right there. I don't care what you say about, I know people don't believe in the Chicago Bears quarterback, but the fact of the matter is, they're sitting at 5-3.
They're sitting at 5-3 right now.
But Max,
they got no line.
Max, they're still 5-3. Where does that leave the Green Bay Packers?
If they lose at 5-3.
You lose to the 49ers. Max, if you lose to the 49ers, this is more psychological. If you can't beat,
if you have time to get over the psychology.
No, say it again.
You have time to get over the psychology.
No, Max, when you lose to a team that's as decimated as the 49ers,
it can be demoralizing, right? But not necessarily.
Absolutely.
Hold on, it could be, but it's not necessarily. We've seen Aaron Rodgers guarantee he's going to go to the playoffs and rack up 7-8 straight wins. Like, this dude can get hot. And if the Packers get healthy and start clicking, look, I agree with you about stopping. Like, one of the reasons I liked Seattle in the preseason was they made the trade for Jamal Adams, right? The Green Bay Packers didn't do anything like that. So I thought, okay, I like Seattle. That was before the Bucs got everyone in the world on their roster. I still don't like Green Bay to win the Super Bowl because of what you mentioned. But we saw them last year without a defense, right? And not as good as they've been early this season because Rodgers has the offense more figured out in his second year under LaFleur. We saw them last year win 13 games and beat Seattle in the playoffs. They were in the NFC Championship game.
So what are they playing for? Are we talking about right now? So you're saying get things clicking. They're going to go to the postseason. They're not going to go to the Super Bowl. So do you think?
I'm saying, like, if you're talking about, do you put this in the plus or the minus column if they lose? The minus column, I get it, but they must win.
But here's what you fail to realize. You're the Green Bay Packers. Last week, you play at home against the Minnesota Vikings.
Yep.
You get your teeth kicked in against a let's be frank, an inferior opponent in the Minnesota Vikings. Then you come back, you're playing in prime time on Thursday night against a very depleted 49ers football team. You go out here and you get your teeth kicked in again against the 49ers. Max, I know how these things tend to snowball inside the locker room. You go back-to-back weeks, you lose this game against the 49ers. If you're the Green Bay Packers, you're supposed to beat the 49ers.
Have we not seen the Packers come on late at the end of seasons because Aaron Rodgers gets hot? We're determined. We've seen it before. And I know, how long did you play in the league?
12 years.
And how many Super Bowl rings do you have?
I got 2. You
got 2 rings, and you played 12 years in the league. Not only did I play in Madden franchise mode, but I have won the Super Bowl.
I gotta go.
Simulated seasons
I gotta
against
go.
the computer.
What is he
Oh my God!
Against the machine,
I don't even
simulated
care
seasons,
about the
franchise
tonight
mode.
conversation. I want to
couldn't
know
repeat
Green
what it
Bay,
costs to repeat.
Max. Green Bay more likely to be one and done in the playoffs or win the Super Bowl.
If it's either or,
Yes, it's
I'll
either
take
or.
Super Bowl over
Okay.
one and done in the playoffs.
Oh, one and done. One and done. At the end of the day, you still, as great as Aaron Rodgers is, can't stop the run. You're not going to advance far in the playoffs.
By the way, especially, I'll take that if they don't win the division. Like, if they're playing in a wild card game, they're going to win the wild card game, and they could win a game after that.
Yeah.
If they win outright, like if they have a bye and they're just, if they earn a bye and maybe one and done, because at that point you're in the NFC Championship game and you're probably more likely to lose there than winning the Super Bowl.
The chances are, what are the chances of them getting a bye? Because only the number 1 seed gets a bye this year.
That's a good point. It's different than the normal format.
Therefore, I like them with an extra round. I like them to at least win that game and the next game versus and I think that's more likely.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Tonight doesn't matter, though. That's his approach.
yeah,
when he plays it as Madden tournament,
it's a throwaway
prime
game.
time.
So
everyone will be watching, but
this game
doesn't
is a
matter.
throwaway game.
They beat him in the NFC Championship game. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. If they lose to the Niners, it's not.
You know how to win
if they
Madden
lose to the Niners,
championships,
they're
so
tied in
you have the
division.
right mindset. Yeah.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.